Okay, well, happy May 2025, everybody. May Day. I guess I don't know if anybody's doing a maypole dance, but
Mayday.
we are in May. So I thought this was really the perfect day. This is our spring virtual networking event, and it certainly wouldn't be one if you weren't all here. So thank you for being here. Like, however you're here is fantastic. If you have to peace out early, you do what you got to do. If you are walking, if you are doing some version of multitasking, it's all good, right? So if you're I'm channeling my mother who would say, make sure you eat your lunch. So please feel free to eat your lunch. Certainly stay hydrated, coffee, whatever works for you. I really am just so thrilled to have you here live and we're connecting live. It makes a huge difference. We actually do these virtual networking events twice a year. So a couple of you, I think, were on our fall virtual networking, and we tend to do this. Well, it's spring and fall, so here we are. So again, I know more folks are jumping on. Welcome, everybody. So this is a great opportunity for you, as we said, to meet, greet, and grow. So sometimes we get crazy and we break out into breakout sessions if people want that. But I like to sort of roll with it, give everybody a chance to just say hello. And please feel free to say what's going on. What are you working on? Like, what do you want people to know about you, especially when you're not in the room? You know what I'm saying? That's very fun. So share who you are, where you're zooming in from if you guys would like. I absolutely would love for you to utilize the chat. The chat is a great opportunity for you to drop your information. So certainly like your, name, your organization, if you guys want to put your website, if you have an event coming up or you want to tell us, like, just feel free to promote yourself. Some of you guys know I go back. I've worn a lot of different hats. Some of you I've worked with more officially, or we've collaborated, or we're still trying to figure out a good excuse to do so. But I've worked in for-profit, nonprofit, government, and I am not shy to just have you guys like promote yourself and what you're doing. I think sometimes we feel like, is it okay to say, like, I don't want to feel salesy, but you're all fabulous. And if you haven't noticed, the world needs leaders. So like we're not waiting on anyone else. We are the leaders. Isn't that fantastic? So please feel free to share what you're up to, your contact information, drop your company chat. If you guys have a promo, just throw it in the chat, okay? I'm not going to take it personally. I love it. So let's get right on going. And awesome. I see you guys are taking me up on that. Thank you for throwing your information in the chat. So if we could, so I saw, guys, it's no particular order. I'm kind of like popcorn style, but I think I saw Leo and Karen and Mark first. So why don't we just sort of start off there? So thanks, Leo, for agreeing to go first.
Absolutely, no
Thank you.
problem.
Welcome.
Yeah, so I'm Leo McCarthy. I've been a massage therapist for 20 years. But what my passion is pursuing my spiritual business. So I have an office in Northborough, and I'm a spiritual mentor and healer. So I practice Reiki. I'm a psychic medium. I do EFT tapping. I'm a shaman. I do group meditations. I do a lot of different events out in public at different locations like yoga studios, metaphysical shops, bookstores, where I do guided meditation experiences, psychic mediumship group readings and stuff. And a lot of my work that I do is in person at my office, and then I do some virtual work over Zoom. So, like, I can do readings over Zoom, I can do EFT tapping over Zoom. I can do Reiki over Zoom. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to, check out my website address. It's leojmccarthy.com. You can see all my services and you can feel free to email me, text me. So thank you, everybody.
Amazing. Thank you, Leo. Longtime friend, fellow entrepreneur. It's so good to have you here live and definitely put your info in the chat. So if you're just joining us, so welcome everybody. Thanks. So about a minute, give or take, because we do have a nice number of people here. Who you are, right? We're human beings before we're human doing. So who you are, and what you'd like us to know about you and a little bit about your work in the world, and then absolutely put your information in the chat so we can all connect. So let's hear next from Karen and then Mark, and then we'll go to Carrie.
All right. Let's see. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Karen Sepatelli. I'm an enrolled agent, which means I'm licensed by the U.S. Treasury to represent taxpayers up through tax court. And as that, I am your emergency room for those with IRS tax problems. So whether it be a love letter from the IRS, the state, you owe money, you forgot to send in some returns, whatever the issue may be, audits, love doing audits with you as well. Happy to help anybody out. And I'm located in Central Mass, but I can work with people all over the country. And over the next few months, I'm spending some time down in Central Florida as well as Southern California. So if there's anyone here from those areas, would love to meet up in person as well. And yeah, taxes don't have to be scary. Would love to help anybody work through any of those issues and gain your life back.
Yes,
Because
and Karen is so fun. I've been to a few in-persons with Karen. She might even be coming to harass me in person. Coffee and pie, guys, tomorrow, 2 to 4 in person. Excited about that, but very fun. You make taxes fun, and like the whole emergency room thing, like we're getting the visual. Thank you so much. So
thank
let's
you.
go to Mark, Carrie, and then Shannon. Go ahead.
All right, Mark Dexter here. I work with New York Life, and I live in Still right now with my wife and 2 kids. And this morning you should have seen me. I was putting together my chicken coop. Anyways,
Ooh.
free eggs for everyone soon. No, just kidding. Um, so what I do with New York Life is I work on both personal and business levels to help you actually establish the protections you need to make sure that should anything happen to you or your family, your entire portfolio of finances doesn't collapse on you. Um, I personally have had a lot of experience with long-term care as well, so that's where I'm kind of leaning my specialty right now. So I won't get too nerdy on it, but a majority of us are going to end up in long-term care at some level. So let's get a plan together and figure out how to help you out.
Thank you so much, Mark. Okay, so we'll go Carrie, Shannon, and then my new buddy Tom. Tom M will be up next on bat. So go ahead, Carrie.
Gary, right? Me? Me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
My name is Carrie Rulinek, and I'm the owner of It's Your Call. We're a business-to-business telemarketing service, so we make outbound phone calls for companies. We do cold calling and customer outreach and event promotion and lead qualification. Anytime when companies have a large amount of calling and they don't have the time to do it themselves, they use us. We're currently working with an AI HR software type of program. We got uh, a medical training company. We have an association where we're helping with membership, and we're doing some calling for a photographer at this time.
So awesome. I'm so glad to reconnect with you. And Carrie, like we should connect. And I
I
just
know, I
got
know.
Glenn, one of our amazing sponsors for our upcoming Career and Leadership Conference. Glenn from Decision Me also said he wanted to connect with you, and I had a chance to meet him and Michelle in person. That was so awesome, Glenn. And definitely make sure that you and Carrie connect. I'm seeing you guys, and just drop your LinkedIn as well. I'm talking like straight out while we're doing this. You guys are connecting with each other on LinkedIn. And you know how it's always a best practice to send a little note when you're connecting on LinkedIn, but when you're here right now, like you can save one of those 5, you only have 5 on the free LinkedIn plan. So you guys, if you're here now, they'll know and they'll just accept you, okay, without the extra little invite. So thank you, Carrie. Awesome. Let's go Shannon, Tom, and then JP.
Hi, I'm Shannon McMillan. I am the Assistant Director of Employment Services or Supports, and Human Rights Coordinator at My Choice Program. So we work directly with DDS, and we have clients who are contracted to us. My Choice has about 4 different parts to it, including employment, shared living, individual sports, and community sports. And then on top of that, I am actually leaving employment, and we are creating a community-based day sports program, which I will be directing. So I feel like that was only 30 seconds, but 30 seconds.
Awesome. I
And
love
I'm
what you're doing. It was so fun to connect with you. Actually, guys, old school phone call. Guys, I've been doing some phone calls, and it's kind of like people are getting that. You remember like the old birthday party invitation in the mail? Like now when people are getting a phone call and it's not spam, it's actually a friend or a human they might actually care about from back in the day, even
you like
pre-COVID.
to pick it up.
Right? It's so fun. So thank you, thank you. And actually, P.S. isn't this sort of your time off, Shannon? So make sure you're doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yes.
yeah. We talked about that. Okay,
Yes,
especially
I
those
am on
with,
vacation. But
can't
I
you
took a
tell?
long vacation, so
Yes, good point. Okay, fantastic. So let's go to Tom, JP, and then Glenn.
Yeah, talk about old school. I just sent a handwritten letter to a client.
That's what I'm
How about
talking
that?
about. It's coming
Right?
back.
I own a brand marketing and advertising agency in Pennsylvania now. I spent my whole life in New Jersey and New York. So I've been doing advertising for 43 years. The name of the agency is Stimulus Brand Communications. We have Fortune 500 clients all around the country and then more local. So the range is very, very broad. We do strategy and brand positioning, uh, traditional creative and digital creative in every media. So it completely just depends on the nature of the client and their needs. I also do public speaking. I actually have a gig coming up in Providence, Rhode Island, where I went to college. So I accepted that for free so I could then visit some friends afterwards. But I do about 5 or 6 keynotes a year. I just did one Saturday. And I'm a musician. I was a drummer for a long time in a 10-piece classic rock band. So I have that sort of work-life balance going on. But the biggest thing is my Stimulus brand company, which I've now had that for 23 years.
That's so
And in
awesome.
Lebanon, Pennsylvania.
So great. Thank you so much. Awesome. I'm so thrilled to have you all here. So thanks, Tom. We're going to go to JP, Glenn, and then Jeff, please.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. JP van Steertiem, and there's going to be a test at the end of this call. Everybody's going to have to pronounce my name. No, just kidding. So I'm a focal point business and executive coach. Live in Bolton, Massachusetts, and IT leaders hire me to drive business impact and build high-performing teams. Who are IT leaders? Could be the owner of an MSP, a cybersecurity company, but could also be the CIO of a somewhat larger enterprise. And they hire me because they face two significant challenges that I help resolve. The first one is that they have difficulty proving the business value of IT, and IT stands for information technology. And as you all know, technology changes very rapidly. So if you got to be able to justify an investment in a new IT initiative, you got to be able to tell a very clear story. And you got to be able to tell that story not to a technical person, but to a business person. You got to be able to translate a technology to business benefits. So I help them with that. And the second challenge I help them with is that because of those same rapid changes in technology, they struggle to attract and retain skilled technical talent. Right. So I help them with strategies on how to retain their talent and how to attract talent from the outside. So my goal is to basically help them transition from being viewed as a support function to being viewed as a strategic business partner.
That's so great.
That's it.
Awesome. JP,
Thank you.
it was so good to see you again in person, and you've got a great LinkedIn newsletter. If you wanted to drop that information, I think that would benefit a lot of folks on this call, or at minimum, certainly your LinkedIn, and people can find you that way. So let's keep
Absolutely. And it's in the chat, I think.
fantastic. Yes. Awesome. So Glenn, Jeff, and then Patience, my girl, is here in person. Thank you for being here. It was great to chat with you yesterday. Go ahead, Glenn.
Hey, my name is Glenn House, and I am the founder of a company called Decision Me, and I'm going to be working with Amy in her upcoming conference. Decision Me exists to help people make decisions with peace of mind. How we do that is we offer a web-based decision platform that allows people to select among alternatives using the latest AI as a trusted assistant and statistical simulation. So it's taking something that's extremely complicated and making it accessible to the population of young professionals and decision makers without having to stress about, and having decision fatigue and so forth. So you'll be seeing more about that at the upcoming conference. I'm excited to be a part of it. Amy, thank you so much for allowing us to be a sponsor.
Oh my gosh. Twist my arm. Go ahead. Thank you. Thank you so much. You guys, Glenn is a powerhouse. I don't know if you've ever been called that. I get the house going, so I like my plays on words. Jeff Turgeon, who I used to work with, this is like, oh gosh, rolling the eyes. Here she goes. But love what you are bringing to the party here, and also with your incredible background, and then your choice to focus this sort of social impact, and especially to empower young professionals. I couldn't be more thrilled. So many young people that I know of, they're just in humans of all ages and stages. They're looking around, they're trying to figure stuff out. And if they could make decisions that actually matter to them with greater ease and confidence, win-win. So I'm so excited to know you and be collaborating. Thanks again. Okay, amazing. So let's hear Jeff Turgeon, Patience, and then my buddy Mike, not the other Mike, but Mike Belanger from Bio One. I love this shirt, the visual. You're bringing the visual. So good. You guys feel free on any of these, like just advertise anything you're doing. I love it, Mike. Go ahead.
Hey everyone. Thanks, Amy. Jeff Turgeon, Mass Hire Central Region Workforce Board. So we coordinate the workforce development system here in Worcester, Mass, and 37 surrounding communities. And what we really do is we try to help connect folks that are looking for work with employers that are looking to hire. We also coordinate job training programs and do job fairs. And we also work with young people that are just getting into the workplace. We oversee the state-funded summer jobs program here in the region. So we also work with other folks with challenges like people just coming back from prison. Right now, we're doing a lot with folks that have coming through the immigration system that had been in emergency shelters here in Massachusetts, try to get them up and running and into tax-paying citizens. So thanks, Amy.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. And I feel so honored. This guy is back to back on meetings. I know a lot of us are in a lot of meetings, but I'm so thrilled you could be here. Thank you. Okay, so let's go to Patience, Mike, and then Kelly.
Good afternoon, everyone. How's everybody doing? I hope you're all doing well. My name is Patience Noah, and I am the owner of Patience Noah Insurance. It's an independent insurance agency catering to small to mid-sized businesses out in Framingham. But we do business in multiple states. We're licensed to do business in Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland. Those are the states that we're licensed in. And we do anything from general liability, workers' comp, commercial auto, and then we do group benefits as well for groups that have smaller employee pool up to 50. We provide health insurance for them. And then we provide dental, vision, anything you need. If you do have larger groups, we do have an option for you as well. And yeah, and I've been in business for 5 years. So yeah, Amy, thank you for reaching out. And I'm so glad to be here to get to meet you all.
Definitely. I say she makes insurance cool. And I don't know about you guys, but a lot of my young professionals are they're like banking, finance, insurance. They're like, they want to be financially savvy and know this stuff, but they're like, I'm not convinced that that's what my future is calling, right? But I literally was like, girl, you make insurance cool, so you got to be on this. You know, we got to expand this, and we will be hearing from a few of our young professionals on the call. So I have not forgotten about you guys. We are coming soon to a theater near you. Again, Patience, thanks for being here live. We're going to go Mike, Kelly, and then we're going to hear from one of our young professionals, Paramala, who I know is on the call. So thank you, Mike. Hey, Mike Belanger.
All right. Hey, everybody. It's great to be here. I'm glad I see some familiar faces that I met last night. We all survived that. That was kind of fun. And I'm on site right now, so I'm taking a little lunch to meet with you folks. But in short, my name is Mike Belanger. If we didn't meet last night, I'm the veteran owner of Bio One of Worcester. In short, we are a biohazard decontamination cleaning service. What does that mean? We deal with anything from feces to fentanyl. We deal with hoarding. We deal with trauma when people have this need in their lives. Many times, the elderly come in or people get stuck in life. We're here to help them through that. We're very compassionate. I answer this phone 24/7. We want to get to as many people as we can to help them through these times step by step, and just work with them so they can get through that stuck point in life and kind of move forward. We cover Worcester County, and I'll drive all the way to Pittsfield, Massachusetts to help somebody. Mike Belanger, Iowa and Worcester.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. And I think we met at, well, we're in the chamber together, and I think you're a Clarkie. I happen to have my Clark mug here.
I am a Clark.
So yes. And I did hear, guys, is it true? Actually, maybe Paramala can weigh in on this, although we have Kelly first. But I heard that Clark is no longer going by Challenge Convention Change the World. And as a graduate school alumni from Clark, I was like, I wasn't updated. I didn't give them that approval to alter that.
You
So
didn't
I'm
get
not
the
sure.
memo?
Did you get the memo? But that's big time. I don't know if they've just less emphasized it less or what, but I'm all about challenging convention, changing the world. So I still love that, even if they're not using it. And I see Paramala is smiling. Hello, my dear. Let's hear from Kelly Johnson, and then we'll go right to Paramala. And then George is here with us live. I believe I saw George. Is he still here? Yes, George, I'm so excited that you're here. Fantastic. Go ahead, Kelly. Hi. And I didn't think you could come, but you're here. Fantastic.
I made it. Thank you so much. Glad to be here. I think I met some of you at another one of these that Amy hosted. So thank you so much for having me. My name is Kelly Johnson. I funded Legacy of Impact, working with businesses to create meaningful partnerships with nonprofits. So whether that is through finding sponsorships that values align, or volunteerism for yourself or your employees, as well as thinking through unique ways to find in-kind donations to be able to get your brand and your mission out into the world. Nonprofits now more than ever really need so much of our community impact. So love having these conversations. For my tax friends on here, are you recording what you are donating and your time? That's really a big part of my conversation, to make sure that you are finding those valuable relationships and really building. So happy to continue any conversations. I also work at Community Harvest Project in Grafton doing farming for food security. So all things nonprofit, would love to continue that conversation. And thank you, Amy, for having me.
She's just another slacker out there who doesn't care about anyone. You know, it's amazing. So Kelly, I just adore you. I'm so excited for you with your new initiative. It so much feels like the vibe. It's so aligned with who you are. So absolutely. And we will be chatting with, some of the nonprofits that are here. I'm just thinking, so Leah and Susan, you're coming after George. So we're going to hear now from Paramala, then to George, and then Leah. So thank you, everybody. And if you can come on video, that would be fantastic, especially for you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yay.
Hi, Amy. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Hi, everybody. Hi, Mike. I'm also a Clarkie. Good to meet fellow Clarkies.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm Parimala. I'm currently finishing up my master's in business analytics at Clark University. If I had to describe myself, I would say a data storyteller or a strategy enthusiast. I've had a chance to work with small businesses here in Worcester, especially with Magic Lab Consulting, and also Small Business Development Center as a business analyst and also a marketing analyst, helping small businesses doing consulting projects, and also helping nonprofit teams leading and increasing and helping them with automation, whether it be a website engagement or their CRM systems, marketing workflows, and all of that. I've also have been leading a Clark Consulting Group at Clark University as a president. I've worked with cross-functional teams and organized university-wide consulting challenges and helped entrepreneurs, especially with individuals with physical disabilities and disabilities, to launch their real businesses. So as I'm finishing up my master's, I'm looking for opportunities in marketing analytics, consulting, and digital strategy areas. So I would like to connect with you all and build something meaningful. Thank you, Amy.
Great job, Parimal. You're amazing. It's been so wonderful working with you, supporting you. You're a catch, my dear. Okay, wink, wink. So George, hello, welcome to the party. It's so wonderful to finally meet you more live.
Yes, hello.
Virtual, but thanks for being
Yes,
here.
of course. Thank you.
You're welcome.
My name is George Cecilio. A little bit about me. I'm currently transitioning. I just left UMass Lowell. I'm going over to QCC to grab my associate's degree, hopefully for biomedical engineering. In high school, I studied at Worcester Tech, thankfully, and I was there for 4 years. I was able to get a co-op opportunity. I worked at Charles River Laboratories within the handling section for about 5 months. So I had a little bit of hands-on activity there with biotechnology. I was listening and I think I came a bit late. I didn't grab everybody's information. Um, Definitely Mike with Bio One that definitely grabbed my attention. Um, I'm currently looking for, I'd say maybe a call for opportunities again, and just also just more outreach for more opportunities and companies for hopefully biotechnology, biomedical engineering, anything like that. So thank you.
Fantastic. Oh, it's wonderful. Great. Thank you, George. And please put your information in the chat, if that's LinkedIn or even an email, and a little note so people can remember some of the key bits, although I know a lot of people are recording this as well. So fantastic. I really acknowledge you for being here. So let's hear from Leah, Nikki, and then Susan. Hi, Leah.
Hey there, how are you? So
Great.
so grateful to be here. Thank you, everybody. I just flew in late yesterday from Arizona, so not quite awake, but close. So I'm the CEO of Crossroads Continuum, and we're an autism nonprofit. We have four programs that we run. The first is Early Learning Center from first diagnosis, and our youngest is 18 months, through to a day school, which has elementary, middle, and a high school. And then we have an adult services program, which is the over 22. It's a community-based day program. We actually are not a residential program, and we also have home services. So what I'm really looking for is to have more people know about the work that we do at Crossroads. I think it's very, very important. But also, for me at least, as a long-term healthcare executive, I really look to groom people who can ultimately be part of the organization. So we're thrilled to have met Amy and talk about internship possibilities at our organization, everywhere from actually being hands-on types of internships to doing a lot of the backroom and administrative and strategic sort of things that we do. So one thing about me is that I actually was a retired executive, and the only person that I know that went back to work at 67, I'm now 68. But I am a mother of a child with autism. My son James is 31 years old and has done tremendously well in the programming that he's been in. And so it's my opportunity to give back. But I'm all about helping in any way that I can, anybody within the network, and also having folks know more about us. So that if there is something that you'd like to do or help us with, that we could talk more about it. Thank you.
So great. Wonderful. Well, thanks for being here, even though, you maybe have a little, exhaustion from the trip, the travels. But I did have a chance to connect actually live and see Leah in action, and you are just such a natural. I'm so thrilled you came out of retirement to do what you're doing. And as I said, I think to Kelly, just who you are and just meeting you the last, couple times it feels so in alignment with what you're doing. So when the being and the doing line up, I just love that so much. And I think we can really, as my tagline that I haven't let go of since 2020 is co-creating a world that works. It's like we can both do well for ourselves and do good work in the world. And I love when those two things line up, doing well and doing good. So thank you, Leah. Let's hear now from Nikki, and we'll go to Susan and then Claudine. So hello, Nikki.
Hi, everybody. I just met Amy. It's such an exciting meeting we had. And I had a meeting a few weeks ago with Jeff Turgeon, thanks to Christine McNally. And Leah, I really appreciate following your introduction because I'm a mom of a 24-year-old on the spectrum. I started my career as a perspiring actor in New York. And then when I had my child, I realized I wanted to teach because teaching was performing with a lot more consistency. And then when he was diagnosed, I decided I needed to work with autistic individuals, and that has become my world. And I have been able to, I think I am aligned with, I'm very grateful that I wake up every morning and I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing and why. So that makes life very meaningful. So the program that I run, that I started 4 years ago, is called Summit Campus. And it is exactly the brainchild of my witnessing my son's experience not doing well in college, even though he had all the smarts because he didn't have the community and the supports. So this is a residential program. It's very small, and we support 11 or 12 kids here who are trying to find their pathway to functional independent living. And I thought it started out with education or vocational training, but what really has me aflutter right now is pathways to employment. So I am looking for pathways to employment, either through internships or helping companies create a model similar to Wells Fargo model and working with University of Connecticut Neurodiversity in the Workplace Initiative. I want to see that happen here in central Massachusetts, not just for my kids, but for all of these kids who have such limited opportunities because they're misunderstood and they just need some accommodation to be successful. And that's my mission right now. So I'm here to sort of say hello and put it out there, because when I think you put things out there, things come back. So thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much, Nikki, for being here. It's incredible. I love that we're all coming together. And Jeff and I worked together for almost 6 years. So it was great to have that. And actually, Christine and I as well. And it's just so awesome to have, the right people talking at the right time. And remember, it's about adding value no matter what the range of abilities. It's really about making sure that the various players in this life, right? We're all fellow human beings, and that we can understand the value that we are and that we can add no matter the differences. So that's sort of the way I look at it. And I'm excited. Hopefully we can collaborate more, Nikki. I'm looking forward to supporting your mission. So let's move on to Susan, Claudine, and then my girl, Chrissy. Good to see you, Chrissy and Christy, my fellow entrepreneur. You guys, we're in a group together. It's so great to see you come onto one of my programs. I appreciate you being here. Great. Thank you. Let's go to Susan.
Hey everyone, so really happy to be here. So my name's Susan DiClemente, and I help women in science navigate their organizations to ensure that their ideas actually get heard in laboratories and conference rooms. And I do all this by upskilling them in communications and effective communications. So I have 30 years of communications, corporate communications experience. 20 of those years are in the pharmaceutical industry. And so I understand the challenges that women in science face and continue to face. And so I left corporate 2 years ago and launched my own business and really focus on communications and leadership coaching, specifically for women in science. So my ask to everyone is, if you have any women in science in your life, to please have them reach out. I offer 60-minute free consultations for everybody who is even thinking about getting a coach. And so I would love to have some people come my way. And I just want to do a shout out to Mike Belanger. What you said and how you introduced your company was very powerful. And as a 30-year communications professional, I stand by words matter. And your words were very powerful in how you introduced your company.
Oh, that's such great feedback. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that Susan is my co-coordinator. I wouldn't say partner in crime, but we are pulling together this incredible second annual Career and Leadership Conference. And Susan put that bug in my ear because she was one of our speakers last year. She's like, Amy, this could be like the place for purpose-driven young professionals every year. And so thank you for that extra nudge and for your leadership and partnership, Susan. And we would not be where we are without you as we lead up to June 20th. So thank you so much. Okay, so let's hear Claudine, Christy, and then Christy, please.
Hi, everyone. Claudine Monroe Chin. I'm with New York Life. We service the Central Mass area. Our office is out of Westboro, and I reside in Holden. Now, my passion is small business. I was a small business owner for over 20 years, and I would love to connect with any small business out there so they can utilize our services and help them grow their business.
Thank you. And Claudine is such a sweetheart. We were in one of the various entrepreneurial groups I was involved in early COVID. So I know that we always aligned, and it was Kumon, right? So you were in the education space. And definitely, how you care about people, I feel like makes whatever you're talking about very accessible. And I appreciate you being here. And also you and your colleague, Mark, I know Mark, recently, I know you more recently, but both of you came to my boyfriend's Taco Burrow food truck opening, as did Susan and some other people here. So you guys, I can't thank you enough. It's so important, especially when we're full-time self-employed, to support each other's businesses. Leo, I'm looking at you. No matter what we've been doing, we've been supporting each other. Christy, I mean, you guys, it's like, it really does take a village, not only raising a child, but being in business for the long haul, especially on our own. We're not truly on our own when we have these kind of collaborators. So thank you all so much. So
Thank
with
you,
that,
Amy.
yes, oh my gosh, absolutely. So let's go to Christy Carroll. I'm so happy to have my girl here, and then Christy, and then Adwa. I saw Adwa also from Clark here today. Go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you for having me, Amy. I'm Chrissy. I am a dietitian and running coach. I run the website Snacking in Sneakers. So I share sports nutrition tips, training plans, and recipes to help support runners at every level. So you can find me over there.
Awesome. Thank you, Christy. And I'm sure people would love to find you online. So definitely drop the link if you haven't already. And let's hear from Christy Raymond.
Well, hi, friends. So I'm calling you from the rainbow state of Hawaii right now. O'clock in the morning, so y'all will eat lunch while I have breakfast.
Wow.
I'm visiting my daughter. She just moved here. So thanks for inviting me, Amy. Hi, friends. I'm glad to see some friendly faces here. My name is Christy Raymond, and I founded Humankind Casting and Talent in January of 2021 with the intention of inclusive casting and production practices for mainstream media, and that is after a 30-year career in the business. And what I realized as I focused on inclusive casting and production practices was I was creating the problem because there is no talent pool from which to choose. So I want to talk about including the disability community, but if there are no professional models or actors to represent that community accurately and authentically in photo and video, nothing will happen. So a couple of years ago, April of 2023, I launched a series of low-cost photo clinics for children and adults with disabilities to do just that, build a talent pool, as well as give people an incredible experience of a modeling test shoot, because my experience started with owning a modeling agency in the 1900s. And yeah, I really want to give people that opportunity because I love this industry that I'm in, and starting to build that talent pool. And I'm very, very excited to say that, it's if we build it, will they come? And I'm so excited to say yes. Clients like CVS, Staples, Burlington Coat Factory, Shark Ninja Vacuums have booked talent who have attended our clinic. So my goal is to build an adaptive talent pool, not only here in New England, but around the country through our Beauty Has No Limits photo clinic, whether they're for people to just have the experience. We've done some great clinics with the ARC programs around Massachusetts, and just giving people a chance to get in front of their camera, because just as much as words matter, I think photos and video have the power to change how we see each other. And I think everybody needs a headshot. Everybody needs a headshot. So giving that experience to everyone. We also take it a little bit of a step further in that we offer some opportunities of shadowing and support opportunities within the industry for people who have attended our clinic. So if somebody wants to be a producer's assistant or a PA in our word, or assistant for me at my castings, I offer those opportunities. They're not quite job training programs, but they do give, again, incredible opportunity to build self-confidence and to really change the way someone is personally presenting themselves when they walk in a room. So we're trying to hit both sides of it with regards to advertising as well as building up a community, increasing self-confidence, and really hopefully changing the way some people see themselves as well. So
absolutely.
So
You're doing such important work, Christy. Thank you for jumping on. And I know it's, I believe, 6 hours before, and I'm so thrilled to know that you're with your daughter in person. I know that that's been pulling at your heartstrings, so, and mine too, by extension. So thank you, thank you. Let's hear from Adwa and then Sandy. And is there anybody else that has not introduced themselves yet? Did I miss anyone other than Adwa and Sandy? anyone else not yet introduced themselves? Because I was sort of going around the checkerboard. I think we are good. Okay, you guys, you can see how this was recommended that it be a 90-minute versus 60-minute because we still want to have a chance for people to be interacting as well after the intro. So let's go straight to Adwa. It's so wonderful to have you here, my dear.
Hi, Amy. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
And I'm sorry I can't be on video.
You're
I'm
okay.
waiting outside a doctor's office to
Oh,
take my son to an appointment. So
of course.
I'm trying to be respectful of those that are in the area. But my name is Adjoa. I am the Employee Relations Manager at Clark University with the School of Business, but I really work for the whole school. I met Amy and I had been recommended to each other to meet so many times by so many people, and we finally made it happen this year. So I'm really happy to be here. My role really focuses on getting a good understanding of business needs, what our business is struggling with currently, what they feel students could be doing better or learning better as they prepare to enter into the job market. And then additionally, just trying to uncover opportunities, whether that be through internship opportunities or job opportunities for our students, both undergrad and graduate. So I'm here if anyone has any needs. It is summertime. I always strongly encourage businesses, if you have any specific needs for our undergrads, they can take on unpaid internships that can be supplemented. So if you would like to be able to have an intern, but maybe don't have the financial capacity to pay them, I'll have to check to make sure that we still have some funds, but yeah, we usually are able to cover that for our undergrads. But for our graduate students, they typically usually need to have a paid internship to just upkeep their life in a sense. So yeah, if anyone has any questions, I will drop my email. You can feel free to reach out to me, and I may drop at some point when we get called. So just
Of course. Thank you for being here and squeezing it in, and hope all goes well with the doctors. Yes, of course. So from what we had 3 different people tell us within like 2-3 months we had to meet. So like she said, we met for lunch. It was amazing. I'm still coming down for my girl. But very approachable human being. So I would absolutely just grab Adwa's email as a great contact. And this is a good opportunity, right? Too. And I don't want to, steal your thunder, Adwa, but like if people aren't in the handshake system, it's a good opportunity in the summer to learn a little bit more about that. I know you can answer some basic questions or refer people, get a little bit more information about what your options are. And of course, if you're looking to help structure your own internship program, that's where you and I can hang out and talk in more detail. And that's where we're collaborating a little bit. It's so nice to be collaborating again with Clark, and we're still sort of working out those details. But oftentimes you have wonderful employer relations, but that particular organization hasn't yet structured an internship program. So that's where we can work together to meet everybody's needs. So thank you again for being here. Let's hear from my dear Sandy. Guys, I have chicken scratch going on here. I can't read my own writing. That's so funny. Oh, I had put a Clark U note, so I already made the point. Let's go to Sandy, and I think we are good in terms of intros after Sandy. So Sandy from Hartwell Institute, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you, everyone, for everything that you do. It's very nice to meet you. I love these online sessions, and Amy is like my hero. So I am from Hartwell Institute. We believe that mindfulness is not a luxury, that it's a lifeline. We were born in the heart of the Commonwealth, in the heart of Massachusetts, and we've been quietly changing lives by helping people slow down and breathe, reconnect with what matters most. We especially are working hard because life is especially hard right now for so many. So we offer mindfulness programs online and in person in English and Spanish. I would love to talk with anyone about that. I just this morning shared a quote from Archbishop Desmond Tutu about joy. I was in a meeting earlier with the Attorney General, whose middle name is Joy. And so she said that even in difficult times, she wants to approach work with joy. And the quote was from the Book of Joy that discovering joy doesn't mean that we don't also have heartbreak and difficult times, but it helps us to not be broken.
Beautiful. Thank you, Sandy. You're such a love, and congrats on your recent certification around meditation, and just any information you have, please feel free to put it in the chat and just go crazy. Promote yourselves, people, all right, in the chat. Your chat is my chat. So Tom, really, it's great to have you on here live. Would you please introduce yourself, take about a minute or so, and just tell us who you are as a human being before the human doing, right? And what you would like us to know about your work in the world, and certainly any calls to action or any resources, please feel free to drop that in the chat. So great to have you. If you can join us, and if not, that was quite the intro, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How's it going? We can circle back, no worries.
Yeah.
Okay. Tom Greeley, are you there? All right, guys. So what I would love for you to do is just in the chat, take a moment, okay? I want you to just make any impulsive comment. So maybe what you're thinking in your head, you're thinking something. Now that you've heard all of these incredible humans introduce themselves, maybe you're thinking something, maybe you're feeling something. So keep it brief, but just drop a note. I would love to have just a brief note from everybody here. What is something you're now thinking or now feeling now that you've had a chance to meet all of these new friends? Or maybe there's something you forgot to say and you'd love to just drop it in. Please feel free. Beautiful. The chat is blowing up. Keep it coming. I'd love a one note from everyone. What are you now thinking? What are you now feeling? And if you forgot to share something, welcome to being human. Feel free to just drop it right in the chat. Nothing's wrong. All is well. Beautiful. Oh, it's so great. So we'll take another 30 seconds or so. Please drop your comment. There's no wrong answer. Great. Thank you. Again, if you forgot to share something, no worries. Just let us know now. It's never too late. We are here until 2 p.m. We will be wrapped up by 2 p.m. I would encourage folks to stay. We may not go the entire time, but I know we can fill it up. I am going to introduce myself briefly as well as what my company does, and just let you know also about this Career and Leadership Conference that is very exciting, coming up on June 20th, because we've mentioned it a few times. On that note, you guys, not only now, I'm going to share screen in just a moment, but I would love for you to think, is there something that you'd like to invite people to? Like, I'm going to invite people, especially if you're a young professional or you know young professionals between 18 and 29, I am going to invite you to our upcoming Career Leadership Conference. Most of our speaker opportunities are sort of locked in. We definitely still have sponsor opportunities, but that's an example. I'm super excited. Can you tell? I'm going to be letting you guys know about that. I'm going to be dropping that link to my event that Susan and we do have a really beautiful planning committee. I'm going to put that in the chat in just a few moments. So please think about what's coming up for your organization. Would you like to invite somebody, whether it's a free session or, wait for it, if it's a paid service, if it's something that's coming up that you charge for, please feel free to put it in the chat. I know a lot of you guys, you might have a free thing coming up. So whether it's an event, it's an opportunity, you're requesting people to, like, if you guys want to drop a flyer, for gosh darn sake, put it in the chat. You can link to it, or you can just put it in as a file attachment right in the chat. This chat is being recorded. So please, as I'm about to pull up my stuff, and I will be dropping, I'm gonna give you guys an example of what I'm going to put in the chat. So please feel free to put any upcoming events and opportunities, whether it's free or paid, put it in the chat. It's all good here with Visions Internships, okay? We are supporting for-profits, nonprofits, people helping people. So I am going to actually, let me share my screen on this topic of the conference first. Can you guys see? It should be a web page. It says Career and Leadership Conference. We call it the CLC for short. It is the second annual and the third Friday of June, which happens to fall right on the first day of summer, my friends. I am so excited. So this is happening downtown Worcester, and reasons that young people between the ages of 18 and 29 may want to attend. It's definitely about mandatory fun, guys. If you haven't worked with me before, I definitely adopt the Ben and Jerry's rule, which is if it's not fun, why do it? There's already enough stress in the world. So young people will definitely be connecting and having fun. They will be envisioning a future that truly inspires them. They will be learning and growing as a leader and taking their career to the next level. It's jam-packed. This is some of our planning committee, 5 of whom are our young professionals themselves. And let's see, well, Susan's on with me here now. But we have about 8 people that are working on this planning committee. There's an incredible group. The flow of the day, you guys, bear with me. This is more of like a parking lot right now. This doesn't give all the details, but just so you have a little sense, young people are going to be trained in becoming their own chief dream officer. They're going to learn how to create a life they love, no matter what the headlines say. I mean, I could just end the meeting right there. I mean, I'm so pumped about this. So that's our morning keynote speaker. Her name is Nancy Cantor. You can hear more about this and feel free to contact me, Susan. Susan, our very own Susan here on the call, who introduced herself supporting women in science, she will be doing a full conference workshop on identifying and applying your actionable core values, helping young people identify their top personal values through which they will create their lives and their careers. Taco Burrow, my guy's food truck, will be providing lunch. Very excited about that. Just a little bit. I will be moderating a panel on effective networking tips and techniques around. We're going to be hearing from at least 3, if not 4. It's sort of a shorter period of time. So probably 3 on the panel, plus myself moderating. What is it that makes effective networking? Clue, especially if you're a young person here, it's not about getting up the gumption and being brave to just go ask for a job. That's not the best networking technique. There are many other things to be doing and being to build human connection and rapport on which anything is possible. So that's going to be an incredible session. We're also going to have breakout sessions, 4 simultaneous breakout sessions, one on anxiety and resilience, one on leadership at every level, another on zigzag career strategies, and then in-demand skills ranging from project management to AI. It's going to be phenomenal. And then the afternoon keynote, I think Glenn had to peace out, but I do want to make a plug again for Decision Me, guys. If you haven't heard about them, check them out. They're an incredible local app development company helping all humans, but we're focusing this effort around helping young people have peace of mind and confidence around important decisions for them. So excited. And then you guys, this is something, if I could, because I did invite you here, so I am going to invite you to something else. This is a session that will make a huge difference for young people. If you guys can please take note, even look at your calendar now while we're here multitasking, between 4:30 and 6 p.m. on Friday, June 20th, the first day of summer, we're going to be chilling, having, wait for it, mocktails, okay, downtown Worcester. You guys, the event actually takes place, it's a day-long event at the White Room, but at 4:30, we're going upstairs to do a very special and important simulated but real-world professional networking event to support our young professionals that kind of freak out when they hear about networking. They're not really sure what it is. They don't really know what to do. So if you guys can come and help to add to that pool of very loving and supportive, more experienced professionals, and you guys are willing to just kind of know it's practice for them. Maybe there's some eye contact practice, there's a handshake. We're going to be having a lot of fun there, and it would be wonderful to have more of my colleagues and friends supporting young people during that time, 4:30 to 6. So that's my big ask for you guys, is if you think about people that you know who could benefit as a young person, 18 to 29, whether they work for you or with you, or maybe they actually are your children or nieces or nephews, We still have room for registrants in the conference, but also, guys, if you are willing and able, please consider coming and supporting our simulated real world professional networking event that day from 4:30 to 6. So thank you for allowing me to give an advertisement for my conference. And then let me just show you guys big picture quickly. What the heck Visions Internships does. We do support both organizations and young professionals, helping them each achieve their goals through impactful internships. And some of you may be familiar, our main service is the Internship Insider for busy organizational leaders that would like to work with interns but need some support helping you set up and run a customized internship program that does not take over your whole world. So that's our primary services, helping organizations, whether you're for-profit or nonprofit. We offer a 5-week live training to help you put together an internship playbook. That happens every other month. And then we also offer, once you have an internship program where those interns are there, my clients were like, oh, thanks for helping us set up the program, Amy, but now you keep our interns on track, right? And I said, well, I can. Let's talk. Tell me more. So my own clients over time have actually named the On Track program, where we provide goal setting, productivity, and accountability group virtual coaching for your interns and non-intern young professionals that could use a little bit of extra support. I call it the new GPA. Some of you guys know that I taught college for 5 years before I launched my company, and my students were obsessed with their actual grade point average. And I always say, keep that up. You keep it going, rock on. But please remember that employers actually want you to be able to do proper goal setting, be productive, and accountable. So I call that the new GPA. We do provide additional services you can see on the bottom left in terms of customized needs for the organization. And then we do work with young people as well, although I can say after running programs straight for 2.5 years, between 2020 and end of 2022, I said, oh my gosh, we focus so much on the work-ready intern, we overlooked the need for the intern-ready organization. So that's now really where that Internship Insider comes from, where we're working with the right 2 to 4 people in a company, helping you set up and run a program. Because without it, we can match and pray all day long, but it doesn't work for either party. So we do these 4-week virtual trainings as well, and we can customize those based on what the employer needs. The in-person career and leadership conference, it happens once a year, as I already mentioned, June 20th. And then I do some individual career coaching, although I don't shout that from the rooftops because it's still one-on-one. So you can get a lot more information about what we do at Visions with an S, internships with an S.com. So thank you guys for that. I want to see, I'm going to stop. You guys, I wasn't sharing that whole time. I wasn't sharing the whole time. Correct? Correct. So now I'm sharing. My bad. You guys, so I was thinking you had this visual and you didn't. So
Amy, I saw it.
have it. Yeah, I was seeing it.
Yeah.
Because you know what, Susan, you would have called me out, or Karen, you would have called me out. Christy, I know you. Okay. Thank you
Yeah, it
in
was up
advance.
the whole time.
Okay. Sorry about that. So anyways, we're all human doing the best we can, I hope. So I have my moments. I definitely have my moments as well. So I'm going to stop share now, and I do want to make sure I'm seeing that. Are there any events? Oh, amazing. So I'm seeing a 5K, a 10K. I always look at runners and I say, what's the rush? But I'm very impressed with them. What else do we have coming up? Mark is saying maybe signed up, okay, for the 5K. What else is coming up, guys? Are there any links to your events? Sandy, I'm seeing a link to your organization, and then I'm presuming they can find the sessions on your website.
This one session that I mentioned at the beginning is actually something we haven't even put out onto the website yet. So you would be the first to be hearing about this new program called Meeting the Moment. It's where mindfulness meets social justice.
Wow.
We have 2 local amazing educators teaching it. It's 5 days.
Okay.
So a bit of an investment, we know, but definitely worth the time. So it'll be 3 days, 1 week, and 2 days the following week. So if you have any interest, if your interest is piqued, please call me at the phone number there.
Amazing.
In the chat. Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you. And I'm just seeing some other things, guys. My next question for you, and please use the chat if you want to speak out loud, feel free. I always, call it popcorn facilitation. Just pop out, no need to raise your hand. Just be mindful we're not speaking over one another. But what I would love for you to say now is, please briefly describe your ideal client or your ideal audience. Like, who is really the person or type of organization? So whether it's B2C, business to consumer, or more B2B, right? From one organization to another, how would you describe briefly your ideal audience who you serve with, whether it be your product, your service? And I would love to have everybody put that in the chat, and then we can start to see who might serve a similar audience, because there's even more opportunity to collaborate and cross-promote when we know we're serving perhaps a similar audience. So who do you serve? Who is your ideal customer, client? And this is for-profit or nonprofit, of course. If you're a young person who's here, my question to you is, what is your top 2 or 3 value add skills? So if you're a young person, say, what are your top skills that you might want your ideal employer to know about you? And I'm seeing Aruj from my team has joined. Thank you for being here. And Aruj, you can actually take this either way. You can, as a young professional yourself, you can say, what do you believe your top skills are? And if you're an organization, who do you serve? And who do you want to serve even more? Like, I would love to serve more environmental nonprofits because I feel the planet matters, for example. Like, I want to serve more environmental nonprofits. So if you guys know people that are working in that space, and Kelly, this is something I really would love to do more with. It's kind of on my heart that I'm not doing enough to support our planet. I do say socially and environmentally conscious, but I want to be a little bit more explicit. So that's an example. So I'm seeing, these are great, everybody. So look in the chat if there's any overlap. You can comment, obviously, make sure you have each other's information. Who do I have? Are any of my young people still on with us? I'm wondering, Paramala, I think George may have had to, oh no, George is still here. Wonderful.
Yeah, Amy, I'm here.
Yes, you're here. So I'd love just maybe just 2 top skills that you feel would be valuable that you'd want potential employers to know about you. Great. Okay, guys, so feel free to continue with that line of thought. If you're still thinking, feel free, take your time. I don't want to rush anyone. And I'm going to move on to another question. My next question for you is, what would you say is your most important pain point for yourself right now in business, whether you're in for-profit or nonprofit? How would you briefly describe your top pain point? What are you struggling with? What is a top challenge? Real or perceived, my friends? Real or perceived? What is your top pain point or challenge in business? For my young people, what is your top pain point or challenge as a young person today? Whether you're a student or you're in transition, what are you dealing with that you feel is a struggle, a challenge? Yeah, patience, totally. And I'll put this question in the chat too. So keep your answers coming. There's no wrong answer. I'm going to ask a similar question sort of to try to get a different angle as well. And that is, we know that it's May 1st. So somehow it's May 1st. Didn't we feel like it was just January 1st? It was just 2025. So there's nothing wrong, there's nothing bad. And notice it is May 1st. Okay. What is one thing that you want to prioritize Q2? So we're in Q2 right now. You can either say for this quarter, right? So we're already well into Q2. What is one critical goal, something that is very important to you and your business you want to move on this quarter? If you would like to step back and look at all of 2025 remaining, feel free. What is your top most critical goal, one or two at the most, for either this quarter, Q2, or throughout the rest of the year? What is most important to you? And I would love to remind you, my friends, and I'm talking to myself too, what good news I have for you on this May Day. You have 100% left of the rest of your life. You have 100% left of the rest of this year. You have 100% left of the rest of this quarter. So while our mind could go straight into the gap mindset, I'm encouraging you to just look at, no matter where you thought you would be May 1st, here we are. What is one or two max top critical goals this quarter or this year? And the more specific, the better. Most of you have probably heard of the infamous SMART acronym. I'm just going to spell out, so I've heard different ways to define this, but this acronym typically stands for, at least this is my preferred definition, that goals be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. The more, quote, smart your goals can be, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound, the more likely you will achieve them. You guys are doing great. Thank you so much for participating. I hope this is a value add for you. Awesome. Getting our impact tracking spreadsheet into the hands of those making impact for nonprofits. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Tracking. It can sound so mundane, but my question is, my friends, if tracking is important, right? Because it's really, whether you state it as such or not, something like tracking your performance or your client's performance, it really is critical whether you're in for-profit or nonprofit work. And the question is, how can you make that work for you? What is the system you can put in place that can support you in achieving your, in this case, tracking goals? When you are stressed, has anyone ever been stressed or known somebody who has? I have both. I have like my hands and feet up, okay? Right? Leo's like, throw me an SO. Okay. When we are stressed, my invitation to you, my friends, is to pause the doing, take a breath, and look to see if there is a system missing. When I say system missing, I don't mean something's wrong or bad. I mean the system is missing, and if it were put in place, it could make a positive difference. Has anyone ever heard of the Gap and the Gain book? I do a lot on Audible. This is a recommended book. Chris, yes, I see a thumbs up, girl. This helped me a lot. It was less than a year ago. I read this book. In fact, I read it twice audibly through my Audible. I'm not even paid by Audible, but I do like it. It makes my life work. Speaking of a system that went in place, it works for me. So it helped me because, as some of you who've known me a while, I'm thinking of especially Jeff, who we work together. I know Leo, we go back. I'm a doer. I'm like, let's go, let's go. And I sometimes get a little impatient if things aren't going quite as I would like, right? You set the plan, you plan the work, and the idea is you work the plan. You plan the work, you work the plan. One without the other is less useful. So I would not get a gold medal in patience, although I am working on it. So I tend to sort of look out and I say, oh my goodness, how are we at May 1st? And I didn't do all these things. I can name all these things I thought I was going to do by May 1st, and I haven't done them yet. So if anybody can relate to this, you can publicly acknowledge this or not, but just know that I totally get it. And this book helped me because my default thinking, which I realized was not very empowering, was I would look at the gap. I would look out at the future and I would say, how is it, example, May 1st, and I didn't do X, Y, Z. I failed. I suck. Right? Now, I know at least that that's not useful thinking. It's disempowering thinking, but I can catch myself being in the gap mindset and instead say, wait a second, why don't I take a hot minute and just look, like physically look behind me, look over my own shoulder and acknowledge myself for how far I have come. Holy guacamole! Right? You guys, it's so easy to make ourselves wrong and bad, beat ourselves up, think we're less than, right? Or, oh my gosh, they're going to find me out because I didn't do the thing I said I was going to do. Guess what? They probably didn't know your goal in the first place. But you want to know, am I in the gap or the gain mindset? And when you can actually recognize that, damn, I'm in the gap. I don't want to be hanging out in the gap. At least you can raise your own self-awareness, take a look behind and say, wow, but look how far I've come. Let's say since last year at this time. Wow. And jot those things down. Support your own success by not only saying your goal for tomorrow. How many people have said, oh, at the end of the day, you should have a gratitude journal. You should list the things you're grateful for and you should create your goals for tomorrow or this week. That is a great practice. It's just in my world, it feels insufficient because I usually forget to say what I actually accomplished. And I usually forget to give myself credit for how far I've come. And I get to see this also in the young people that I serve and also sometimes the organizations where I'm helping them build and manage programs. But you're not alone, my friends. And sometimes we suffer in silence because we think we're the only ones hanging out in the gap mindset, even if you haven't named it as such. What are you getting from this conversation? It was perhaps a little bit unexpected. I was wondering if I should do a breakout, and then I kind of went inward and I was like, let me just give them a little bit of the gap and the gain and a little bit of my default thinking. And hopefully that opens up new possibilities for others. So if you guys would be willing, if anyone would take themselves off mute, just give me a little bit of feedback. What about this conversation, if at all, has been useful? What are you thinking about now? And let's get into also identifying what is a next step out of this. Hopefully it has momentum. This feels like it's relevant for you, for your life, your work, but like, what are you getting and what is perhaps the next action step? I'd love to hear from as many people as possible. Speak or drop in the chat, but I'd love a few people to speak because I'm getting a little sick of hearing my own voice. So thank you. Leo.
Hey, so I just wanted to say kind of what I'm getting from all of our conversations and just being in business for myself. I think we all can relate that whatever that next step is or whatever that follow through is that we haven't done yet, fear is the common denominator that holds us back. And I work with this all the time with my EFT tapping clients. And I think anybody can agree that fear at some point has held them back personally or with their career from doing something or even believing that you can do it.
That's so great. Does anyone not know what EFT tapping is? Because I know it's coming up more and more, but it still may not be known by some people. So I'm thinking, especially if you guys are using any kind of like acronyms, maybe Leo, if you can just define it quickly and then put any information.
Yeah. So EFT tapping stands for Emotional Freedom Technique, and it's a modality that's been around probably 50 to 75 years. It's a young modality. It combines like energy work with the tapping part where there's like a sequential major 9 points that you tap on like the head and the torso that are connected to endpoints for energy meridian channels that connected to our body organ systems and stuff. And then it combines psychology where along with the tapping, you use affirmation statements and statement prompts to tap on the kind of things that we tap on are symptoms, side effects, emotional triggers, trauma. And a big one for us is limiting beliefs. And you can tap on most anything. And the idea of tapping and the affirmations and the statement prompts is you're moving energy and you're bringing forward these things that we're dealing with or holding us back from the subconscious mind to the conscious mind. And we're acknowledging that it's okay to feel this way and be experiencing this. But also, now that we're bringing it forward, we're kind of shining a light on it and actually putting the big picture together and seeing, maybe I'm tapping on being anxious about starting something, but I'm connecting the dots of like where anxiety has held us back in the past and connecting this whole web of anxiety. And when you're dealing with, let's say, fear or an emotional trigger, we realize when in that moment when we have like that fear or that emotional trigger, the intensity behind it is very strong and intense, but it's almost irrational to the point where it doesn't make sense that it matches what triggered us. And so when we connect these dots, we can kind of see what's fueling that intensity. And once we kind of light that up, we can now see it, and now we can actually take the power away from it and the hold that it has over us and release it and reframe the negative narrative that's holding us back into a new belief system,
I love
a
it.
new positive narrative.
You guys, maybe Leo and maybe Sandy could collaborate on a brief, well, whatever it takes, right? Maybe it's a separate event. I don't know, but I'm thinking for the fall virtual networking event that we run, maybe there could be like a virtual exercise where people feel freed up from, or perhaps they're empowered to identify their own trigger. And I do think this idea of limiting beliefs and exploring fear that may hold us back, it's more common than people may realize, especially as adults. You guys, we don't want to look like we don't have it all together, but guess what? I mean, who has it all together? I'm not sure if that happens when we die or not, but it's not really happening as like the creatures that we are. It's all an exploration. But I love this conversation. Yes, and people are asking for perhaps a resource. But would anybody be interested in that? I'm totally nominating Leo and maybe Sandy for like something, at least if it doesn't happen before, we would carve out a little time for our fall virtual networking event, you guys. And I'll make sure everybody has the time and the place, even maybe a little earlier in your schedule than perhaps some of you got this invite. But sometimes last minute invites work well. So amazing. So, Leo, just on that, I wonder, would it be helpful for people to identify whether it's real or perceived? Do you guys know what your main trigger is? Like, where you feel like, what happens? Does somebody do something or say something or not do something or not say something that triggers you, and then you become, we'll just say, less than your best self? Like, where you're like, ooh, that feels yucky. I don't feel so empowered, right? But anybody sort of like, can you think of something, and it may be some circumstance or perhaps someone else's behavior that can trigger you not being your best self? Does anybody have like an immediate thought on that? I can certainly share, but does anybody have something that's right there for them?
Oh, I don't know if this is exactly what it's looking for, but I know in my both personal and business life, it's actually I'm in a business where no is respectful. If someone tells me no, it's respectful. But the delay, and someone has that changing, is wasting my time. That's the
Yeah.
same thing. It's
Yeah.
like not right now, I'm not, no, it's not a good time. That delay, it kills, and I feel it kills my momentum. That's what I feel. And you start getting self-doubt, and
Yeah.
it brings you down that way. That's my experience in it. And it's whereas the other affirmation is I'll take a no and a yes. And obviously there is sometimes not time. Now it's not the good time, but definitive is always.
Yeah, totally. Does anybody have something right on the tip of their tongue? There's no wrong answers here, just an inquiry.
For me, I get extremely overwhelmed when I am doing something that is A, not part of what I'm supposed to be doing, B, something that somebody else is doing, and I don't mind helping other people out when they need assistance, but when they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, or they're going to Boston and then they're like, "Will you do my work though?" That overwhelms me extremely quickly. And then when I'm overwhelmed, that is extremely big for me.
Yeah. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you for sharing. Leo.
I just wanted to say, I think one of the things that is helpful for a lot of us, and sometimes we're not very good at it, or we need to kind of learn to get better at it, is setting boundaries. That's a big thing,
Chrissy.
learning how to say no to things, right? And also being okay that if someone sets a boundary with you.
Yeah. And sometimes, and this is something, guys, for a longer conversation, but I've been doing a lot of sort of like intergenerational work, trying to I'm almost like a medium between the young professionals and the employers, and how the employers perceive the young people. They often perceive them to be lazy, unmotivated. They think they don't want to work. Well, there's always the kid who's doing, a video game in their parents' basement. That is not the majority of where most people are at. They really, truly want to make a difference, but they're feeling sort of misunderstood. There's like a disconnect, and vice versa. I think a lot of times the young people don't really get what the employers are looking for. And one of the things I've been seeing, and I just want to mention this, and perhaps, Leo, we can follow up, and anybody who's interested in this, but this idea of what employers are frustrated, like they call it like, oh, it's just this cancel culture. If you're not, like that, or you're, you can't quite relate, or you don't know the person yet, you're just like, nope, that's not for me. And when in fact, a lot of young people are seeing what can feel abrupt, or maybe not quite as professional as employers would like, but the young person is viewing it as part of their mental health equation, and including setting boundaries. But sometimes those setting boundaries are misconstrued by, let's say, an employer who may be in their 50s, 60s, 70s, what have you. And again, you guys bear with me. I don't mean to make these blanketed stereotype comments, but that's something that I'd love to unpack a little bit more if anyone's interested in that, is like trying to, increase the understanding of young people and employers today. Because you know what? The employers today, they need to also set their healthy boundaries. It's not okay. It doesn't matter how old you are, right? But I think that's fascinating. So you guys, something else I just want to say on this whole point where we ended up going in this direction. I love that we don't have like a solid agenda for this, these virtual networking events. But one thing is, if you think back even back to your childhood, you're like, oh geez, she's going there. She's going deep. But there might be something that's insightful. And I am going to share something. It's not something I, normally would share, but I've been doing a lot of work over here. Some of you know that my dear beloved mom passed away December of 2023. We were best friends. We were like a package deal. My biggest, just everything. And of course, my mother and daughter were the sweetest. And I always joke, no matter how close I was with my mom, when I was around, I was the third wheel, because they were so close. So it was a very sweet relationship, and it's given me a chance to kind of take a breather. I have an older brother and a younger sister. I love them both. We couldn't be more different. Most of my childhood, I have now since reflected, wow, most of my childhood was trying to keep up with my brother, who's 2 years older. And my whole thing was, does he think I'm cool enough? Can I hang out with him and his friends? So I definitely was more of like the tomboy style. If I if there was even a glimpse of a doll, like I wouldn't be able to talk to my brother wouldn't talk to me. He wouldn't let me play with his friends. So I was always concerned about what my brother felt and thought. And if he got me, he even called me an alien. He convinced me I was adopted. So I've had like a lot of stuff going on that since my mother passed away in particular, and I love my brother, and I've given that whole relationship a little bit of a rest, because I realized, wow, I have allowed that to sort of show up in other areas, including my business. So I think you guys know that I provide internship services, and we serve both the organizations and young people, and it's a real passion. And sometimes that sort of judgment of my brother, or my perceived judgment of him from years ago, kicks in. It's like, well, he thinks I'm weird, so other people might think I'm weird. He doesn't get me, so clearly people think my business is too complicated. Nobody will get me, and it's all over. So now that's not true, but can you guys see how that we'll say, I think somebody said limiting belief from, I mean, decades ago, sometimes creeps back in, and it's not healthy. It's not true. And it can sometimes feel true. So I just want you guys to think about, like, in your own life, if you're feeling like you're stopped or you're stuck, honestly, personally or professionally, you might want to look back at what was perhaps a critical relationship that you had back in the day that could have seeded some self-doubt or fear, and it may show up. And at minimum, at least, especially since my mom passed and I've kind of just like given myself a little bit more space with my family and my siblings, I'm like, all is well. That was then, this is now. But it's great to be self-aware. And I know, like, some of the work that Sandy, that you do, and certainly Leo, being self-aware, and I'm 46. Like, all is well. I mean, you look at the world and the headlines, you wonder, but all is well. So it's a way of thinking and a way of being. So I just wanted to offer that as like a way, first of all, for you guys to get to know me a little bit more on the personal front, because I do believe building trust and rapport, and sometimes sharing something I certainly didn't expect or plan to share that. But does anyone want to speak to what I shared? I'm seeing somebody put, yeah, Gabby Bernstein, but speak to what I shared or share anything, and or offer any kind of final comments at all, because we are going to begin to wrap up here in the next 3 or 4 minutes. We're going to be done. So go ahead.
Yeah. Who's going? I'll comment. Audio is on, right?
It is, sir. Yes, it is on. We hear you.
What you were just speaking to. I'm the second youngest out of 9 children. All right. And there are 4 lawyers in the family.
Oh, wow.
And one of the oldest brothers fashioned himself the brightest man on the face of the earth. Georgetown grad, Georgetown Law School. His kids went to Georgetown. He actually is a super personable guy, but very, very bright. And so, and I was a fine artist, and I went into advertising, and then I started my own agency. And he said to my mother, "What does Tom know about business?" "Oh my God, he's not going to do it." "What does he know about business? He's an artist." And I heard that. He didn't want her to tell me that, but I was her project. So she told me that. That stuck with me. That was almost a challenge to really understand business, right? The business side of running an ad agency. And so, yeah, that did kind of like lay around there as a cloud for years and years,
And sometimes we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't even necessarily, it was like the seed. My brother thought I was an alien. I mean, this might explain a few things, you guys. Plus, did I mention I'm a daughter of a sergeant major? So between thinking I'm an alien and learning the Marine Corps hymn before Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, there was a lot going on over here. And by the way, anybody else here a middle child? So I've learned it's a really fun club where we're all about equity, fairness for all, no matter what. Like I was, it's just hilarious. It's just fun to know from where you come, what you've made a lot of it mean. And then at this stage of the game, whether you're in your, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever it is, it's like, take a breath, give yourself some space, guys, wherever you're at, wherever you might be struggling. It probably is tied to some decision you made. Like Tom said, that he wasn't even, it's not like that was right here, but it stuck with him. I'm just saying Shannon oldest, but also, yeah, Shannon, didn't we have a similar conversation yesterday? Same values. Yes, because we did. Sagittarius, right? We had our moment. Yeah. Thank you.
And to add to what Leo was saying earlier, for those that kind of reach a roadblock, like, I don't know if I could do that, or what do I do next? Or, and they're thinking, what if what if is the first consideration. But instead of maybe saying, can I, like questioning yourself, can I be that, or can I do that? If you just switch your mindset to, I will.
Yes.
I will do this. And it could be a small step, a small little step today, another step tomorrow. But if you switch your mindset to, instead of, can I do that? Or to, I will, you're on this trail to the next stage.
Absolutely. It's like the little shifts from I have to I get to. I get to make calls today. I get to connect. I get to go to school. I get to do my homework. Right? It's a mindset shift, and it needs to be like something you allow the time and space to be in, because it's not always so comfortable. Leo, I saw your hand, and I just want to I know we're at time. It's 2 o'clock, so I want to be mindful. But Leo and I are working with one of my friends. Some of you may in the Worcester area have heard of Janae Duane. She is a Sandy. Have you heard of Janae? If not, oh my gosh. So she has a new book called Super Shifts coming out, guys. I will thank you all so much. I know you guys, some of you have a 2 o'clock. But Leo and I are going to be co-coordinating, perhaps even an in-person local event in Central Mass, but maybe there's a virtual component as well. She's phenomenal, and it's a lot about, like, I'm talking deep and big shifts that we are upon right now in society. So I love that I just opened up this huge can of worms in terms shift like big time, but we will get that out there once we have the time and data. Leo, at least we have a call, we can plan it, we'll let people know. But guys, thank you everybody. I want to just, I'll hold this. I don't have a 2 o'clock myself, but I'll hold this open for 2 more minutes in case you need to just drop anything else in the chat you'd like to be included in the recording, and then I'll make sure that we have a follow-up. And I hope you've established some wonderful connections out of today's spring virtual networking event. I hope you'll join us again in the fall. And I hope you will continue to connect and support one another because our world needs that more than ever. You're amazing. Thanks everybody for your leadership and your collaboration. It's my pleasure.
Thank you, Amy.
Take care. Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank
I'll
you,
be on
Amy.
in 2
Take good
minutes.
care. Nice
Thanks,
to
Amy.
meet you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Hanging for a little bit. How you doing, my friends? This was fun. I'm glad you were able to jump on, Sandy. And Sandy and Leo, do you guys know each other yet?
No.
No. Oh.
Nice to meet you, Leo.
This is
Nice
a
to
good
meet you, Sandy.
connection
Yeah, I feel it.
in the mindfulness space. Yes. Amazing. And I see, so the others are just the note takers. So we're just giving people a chance. But since you
Okay.
guys are the only ones live, if there's anything else you want to drop in the chat, please let me know, or anything you guys are thinking or feeling that you'd like me to know. I'm here.
I
I
would
was
love
just going to
to.
add, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say I would love to know more about that book. And
Yeah.
Janae, did you say?
What was the
Yeah.
last part?
What was her name? Janae?
Janae Duane, yes. She just, her book, yes, Super Shifts. I actually still need to pick that up, Leo. I keep forgetting. I keep meaning to ask you if you
I gotta
saw
look
that
for it.
link.
I gotta look for it too. Yeah.
So yes. In fact, what the heck? I will put it, I do know that I have it, and I will have it more front of mind myself, and I would love to buy that. I might even buy an extra one or two just because it's good to have like good
To give it out.
to give out sometimes.
Yeah.
So let me just make sure I know what I'm talking about, because sometimes I say things and yes, this is still being recorded. I can't imagine anyone's still listening to me, but other than you guys, so thank you. What did you think about this session? How is the vibe? I know you guys are both good with like energy and vibe, but give me any little feedback.
I thought it was great. I thought it was really good energy.
Awesome.
And I think the direction where it ended up, I think was very relevant.
That's so great.
Absolutely. I think people were responding positively. There's a lot of activity in the chat.
Yes. Awesome. No, that makes me really happy because, I mean, I love spontaneous, like participatory facilitation. It's like, it gives me like a lot of energy, just not knowing what the exact agenda is. Like, I think it's super fun. And
I love how you
know,
do that.
well, thank you. And I also know that for some people, like certain personalities, it's like not their preference. So I always just want to be mindful. Like some people really need to know, like my daughter needs to know like what is happening,
What's
what is
going to
coming.
happen, right?
What's coming as much as possible. Gosh, guys, that's a huge link. Is that right? Can one of you guys click on that? Is that?
Oh, it could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Depends
It
on
looks
where
like
you
it.
find it.
That's
Was it
true.
on Amazon? Oh yeah,
Yes.
Amazon.
Yeah. Well, I clicked on
Yeah.
it actually from Janae's post. So it
okay.
was a bit.ly. That's why it looked so.
I'm
Yeah.
wondering
Hold on
if
one
it's on
second.
Audible. Do you know if it's on Audible?
That's a good question. I feel like
'Cause
it's not. So guys, actually, that might be a better link.
I feel like I already looked at it or looked for it on Audible, but
Check this link. Are you sure one of it? Yes, I do want to check this link. So yeah, that I think that, and it's a hardcover actually. And is
okay.
it on Audible? That's my total default. Is I always go to Audible because of my life. I'm like, do I want to read
Yeah,
this in
I
3
get it.
days or
hmm
3 years?
hmm
So, but that's a thing. I don't know if that's just an excuse or
Well,
whatever, but
here's another thing. Have you heard of Jim Quick? Kwik?
Yes, I have. But how do I know Jim Quick?
Well, he's like a brain guy and he teaches people how to speed read and
Yeah.
but like in a thoughtful way.
Did you tell me about him before? Because I learned
I
about
don't
him
know.
within the last year. And what have you gotten from his work, actually, Sandy, just briefly from
Well,
his work?
um, I I am in a point where I'm kind of like an emotional Freudian slip there. Information overload.
Yeah.
Um, so I learned about like two or three other people and their things at the same time. But he has a podcast and he has done research about how the brain works and that when we say that we're not a reader or that we are a slow reader, that
It's a
those are
narrative.
limiting beliefs.
Yep.
Yeah, and he actually had a brain injury early in life, and he
Oh,
came
that's
back from
interesting.
it. Yeah, when doctors didn't think that he would. So
Wow.
he has methods to help people read faster while still retaining what they read.
I love
Um,
those personal stories. Like
yeah.
he had a brain injury.
Mm.
And I love when young people see older, more experienced people sharing their own struggles,
Mhm.
like that they had a brain injury or that, in my case, it's funny now, kind of, but like I was really traumatized by my brother calling me an alien and convincing me I was adopted. Like I was like, who am like do I fit like a lot of people have like the struggle with their own parents, but my parents like I was like a neutral relationship. And of course I grew very close with my mom. God bless my dad. I appreciate him too. He's still with us. He turns 80 on June 1st. But I think it's so cool for young people to hear more experienced people's struggles and kind of early, like I call it the turbulent 20s. I had very turbulent 20s, so much self-doubt. It was right after 9/11. And I sort of try to bring that in a little bit because with this whole post-COVID thing where it feels like a lot of young people never got a footing. Um, and so now it feels like they're on quicksand, metaphorically, and they're embarrassed and they might even have a degree and they're not sure where to go. And now housing is through the roof, pun intended, I suppose. Um, but I just feel like we can offer them more like tangible tools and support through like awareness and energy building. So I really, you guys, for Visions internships like the longer haul, I really would love to have something that's a little bit more explicitly empowering in the sense of well-being and mindfulness. Like I think it's more of a program core than I probably realized. Like
Be
I
a
think
module.
yeah, and I feel like they may not admit that, although more young people are talking about mental health and it is more of a conversation. But just well-being and, breathing and centering and kind of like, I just feel like that is becoming more and more important to talk about and to make sure that young people in particular feel like they're not alone, they're not crazy. And actually guys, that is one thing and with this conference coming up, I don't mean to keep talking about this conference, but I'm obviously quite excited about it. This is one area that is not really programmed in. And I feel like it's a little bit of a miss. Like the one area that it is related is one of our 4 breakout sessions is we're calling it anxiety and resilience, identifying and like moving through various hurdles with one of so that is probably the one area that at least mental health and well-being may come up. But anyways, for the longer haul, whether it's something regarding the conference or not, I just
Well,
feel like
Amy, I'd be
it's
happy
needed.
to come and do like a 5 minute meditation opener for the conference.
Oh, we should talk about that because I love that. And um we ironically or not, it's all perfect, right? There's no coincidences. I used to think there were coincidences. I've decided there are not. Tomorrow is our career and leadership, like our conference planning committee meets at 4:30 on Zoom tomorrow. It's the first Friday. So I might bring that up and kind of take a pulse and sort of see, because we do have some icebreaker rapport building time, and maybe that would be a nice way for people to just feel comfortable in their own skin in this space where they're like meeting a lot of people for the first time and they're already somewhat socially anxious. I mean, a lot, not to, some aren't, everybody's different, and there's a lot of this, like, we don't really come together in a professional setting because most of our stuff has just been on Zoom. We don't realize, you guys, I mean, we're about the same age. I'm 46, you guys are in the what, in the
I'm
roughly
51.
so we're all in the same age bracket. But you guys, can you imagine when we were younger not having the in-person experiences that we had when we were
Yeah,
developing as
right,
human beings?
right.
We can't, and we're closer in age than a lot of people that are, working at 60s and 70s, hiring these people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good point.
We don't even myself thinking about this and working with, we don't even have a clue like where they're coming from really, because all they knew, they were born right after 9/11. Their parents probably lost their jobs and maybe their homes in 08, 09. It was a total shit show, Wild West, trying to resuscitate and all those years of trying to get people get back on their feet. And then COVID, when they finally were starting to experience a little bit of, oh my gosh, like a light at the tunnel here, like, and they were in high school or going to college or in college, and that was squashed socially. And now they're trying to, if they got their degree, they feel embarrassed because they're not often where they want to be. There's always exceptions to what I'm saying, obviously. But this is like, if you look at this generation, like the average 25-year-old, 20, 24.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
imagine. And we're in another turbulent time as well.
Oh my
I can't
gosh.
imagine like starting off as a young person and having all of those
Totally.
things.
Well, and it's like I said, like post-COVID, but like now look now
Yeah.
at what they're, even where they're getting information and what they're making that mean. And if they're lucky, they're in community online. But they're really not, like, they're not even, you guys remember we used to hang out at the mall and like give each other a hard time and flip each other over our backs or do like, I mean, we were like in person, like, and I was telling my daughter who's only, yeah, she's going to be 8, which I still just, I told her, I said, honey, we literally did not have phones in our hands. We had a big phone that was stuck to the wall. And then the big news of the day was when we, remember, guys, remember the cordless? Remember when we could walk around our home with a big cordless phone? My parents had a car phone in a suitcase.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so, and you know what
Ooh.
my daughter said, who is sometimes, so we'll call her 8. She said to me as we're walking, we get to walk to Dairy Queen in our neighborhood. Isn't that wonderful? We can just walk there.
Nice.
So we're walking with, actually, she's on her scooter, which wasn't the best idea, scooting and walking in the cone. And actually, no, it was a car. So I said, honey, like we're just talking about phones. I said, you're going to see some of your friends, they're going to be getting phones because, that's up to their parents. I'm not making a judgment, like, but they're going to be 9, 10, 11, and I just need you to know, like, while there may be like an old school, I want you to be able to be in communication with me. So I'm not going to say no phone, but like in terms of the kind of phone and what it does and the fact that it has that much power and it's taking so much of your attention, I don't want you to grow up in such a way where you're disconnected from yourself and others.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to know, like your mom, one generation, we did not have that. You know what she said to me, guys? I was blown away because she is kind of obsessed, especially with the iPad. I'm just going to be honest with you. COVID kid, single mom and a single kid. So there was too much iPad, and I try not to beat myself up for that. It is what it is. It's over. What do you think she said to me when I said, I want you to not be on the screen so much. I want you to interact and look up. It can be a tool, but I don't want it to be your main focus.
Did she say, what am I going to do?
She said, I wish I could experience some of that.
Wow. That's pretty profound.
Yes.
I almost
Fell
off
over.
I was like,
I would have cried.
I literally was like, I wish
That's like
I could have
wisdom, not
experienced some
normally
of
from
that.
an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
But you guys, I'm so thank you for staying on. I love that this is still being recorded. Um, so what does that say? She's young. What is her gut telling her, like literally in her being? She's kind of tired of it too. Now, fortunately, Westboro has something called Westboro Unplugs. And she goes, Mom, do we have to unplug everything in our house next week? And I said, No,
Haha.
honey, it's just about like people unplugging from the screen and being outside and it's spring. And maybe we can have a play date on the swing set and we can. I actually have gymnastics mats. We pulled those out yesterday. That was fun. Um, but like she actually, my point in sharing this with you guys, especially being well-being practitioners of sorts, I don't want to, mislabel you. Um, there's like a desire. She wouldn't have necessarily known to express that if I didn't just share like how I grew up and then she's saying
Right.
she wished she could have experienced that. I was just, what do we do with that?
I think that's more common than we might know.
Right.
Depending on, each individual situation. But I think so, which makes me hopeful.
And with the young professionals, this 18 to 29-ish, like I'm seeing and hearing a little bit more from them too, that like they're getting tired of the screen. Like what's going to step in for them in terms of like purpose and community? And maybe the app is a tool, but it's not the whole point. Like I think there's some fatigue among older, I mean, older than my daughter, young people as well. So anyways, thank you for just like holding the space, you guys. I don't know if you have any other final thoughts. I'll let you go back to your afternoon here, but I'm glad I didn't have a 2 o'clock scheduled and this has been really
Well,
a
thank
highlight.
you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope that maybe there's some space for, what Leo does, what I do
Yeah.
in the conference. Um is it just for like the minimum age like in college or
They definitely don't need to be in college. I'm saying 18 to 29. I know, so I have one person who I know coming who is 17, but her aunt's going to be one of the speakers. So I kind of made a little bit of an exception. But um, I love the 16 to 18, but I think for something like this, some of the conversations that they're going to be in and the fact that they're going to mostly be there independently, I like the idea of having 18 to 29, but 17, I may sort of work with. And then I know that Middlesex Community College, they're bringing 15, if not 17 of their students, and a few of them
Oh,
are in
wow.
their early 30s. So
Wow.
I'm making, if they're coming with a group, it's a
Close
little,
enough. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I don't want to be like the age czar. Um, but yeah. So
I,
what are you thinking, Sandy? Is there any way I
well,
can
my
work with
daughter is
you?
17
Oh, she is.
and
Okay.
she's working with a college counselor right now. And I
Oh.
think being exposed to
Hmm.
something like the conference would be amazing. I'm not
Yeah.
sure school's probably not over by then, but
It
because
it
she has no
is.
idea what she wants to do.
Unless, wait, what school is she? Public school in Mass, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it
Auburn.
should be it should be over. It's and the day before is Juneteenth, so a lot of the schools, but it depends on their snow day actually. If they had that
Mm.
extra, I think there was,
Right.
I think we had either only 2 or 3 in Westboro, so we are definitely out before then. But it depends on the school system, right?
But I'll show it to her.
But yeah, let me know. And especially if you're gonna be, even if you're gonna be like around, you know what I mean? I would kind of actually it's Migalina's niece. You might know Migalina from E for All. And I think I had connected you
Oh,
guys,
yeah, yeah.
right? She's one of our speakers. So if you're sort of,
Awesome.
especially part of the conference, that's where I'm like, well, her mom or aunt, they're there. It's fine. Just, but anyway, so Leo, I know we're good as far as our date. I think I accepted you created the Google link for that.
Yeah, the 19th.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. And
Um,
I think Sandy might, I don't know. I feel like Sandy might be in our Super Shifts club here. What do you think? I think we should be.
I think that's totally fine. I'm open
Yeah.
with that.
So we have,
I was gonna
yeah, Leo.
mention to you, Amy, like with your conference,
Yeah.
and like, you have that portion of the conference
Yeah.
that focuses on anxiety. I'm thinking, it might be something that we could talk about, maybe not for the conference, but in the future, maybe doing like a workshop
Yeah.
on fear and limiting beliefs.
Yes.
I love that. You guys, it's like, how can we not? right?
Yes. And because it doesn't matter how old we are, we still have
No,
limiting beliefs.
that's
Totally.
right. It doesn't matter how we could
Or
be 90 and we still have them.
right, or how successful and powerful we appear to be.
And actually, you know where that might fit in, you guys, and the fact that you guys haven't hung up on me yet, I'm just going to I'm gonna allow myself.
I do have a 2:30.
Oh, you have a 2:30. Okay. So one thing while I'm showing you guys is, Leo, is it easy enough to just invite Sandy right now into the May 19th? And then Sandy, you can let us know. But this is a meeting with me, Leo, and Janae, who's the author of
Yeah,
Internships.
if I can, Sandy, if
Grab,
you want to put your email
yes,
in there,
that's what
I
we'll do.
can add you on the invite for the
Perfect.
meeting on the 19th.
Because we're not sure yet, but we're co-creating some sort of a probably in-person event, probably this summer, to support Janae's movement around super shifts. And it just ties to a lot of what we're already doing, guys. Just let me show you something real quick. So both of you, Leo, Sandy, this fall, and actually I would have to update this for fall dates, but what am I doing? Yes. This is our 4-week virtual program for young people, and of course, it has old dates in it, but it will say fall. So I wonder if this is something where we incorporate more proactively. So this is just give you guys a little sense, and I always kind of
Yeah.
tweak it. I'm going to make it a little bit more also project management oriented because it's a great transferable skill. But I do think we could do something here. So it's going to be, Leo, October. It's like mid-October to mid-November is the time frame. So don't regard these dates. But this is the kind of like it's envisioning your best life. It's like career exploration, making sure you know of some of the stuff we'll be talking as well in the conference. Their values, their vision, their emotional intelligence. There's the sort of job search, networking strategies. So well-being and space to succeed. We had this kind of came out of COVID because kids were working and trying to find work or do school on their bed. And it was kind of like tricky for them to separate. So that's something we could kind of unpack a little bit more and do a little bit more about what you're talking about, because that may not be quite as relevant, although I think space to succeed is always good. And then we have this thing around productivity and professionalism. And this is where you guys, we might want to do something more around well-being for young people, because it's like, what is underneath lack of productivity? It's usually some kind of personal well-being issue, real or perceived, right? That's blocking them from being more quote productive in the workspace. So this week 2, which again will be end of October, is probably a place we could do more. And then this is more kind of like big picture, blah blah. But I think probably week 2 of the what's called Career and Leadership Accelerator is probably a good place to talk more about that. And and then I don't know, Leo, like, how does this help you? Sandy, how does this help you? Sandy, I know you work for the nonprofit Hartwell, but you also I think you have your own practice too.
Yes.
Yes. And then Leo has his own practice. So it's sort of like, you guys, you know this about me by now. I don't need to, I've known you both for a while. Like, I want us all, especially if we are full-time self-employed, like to just like weave this fabric where we can like buoy each other's businesses, help each other get the exposure. It is no joke working for ourselves for the long haul. And I'm Leo, you and I talked about that a little bit, but I'm really starting to look at like what are my long-term structures for success, because without it, it's almost like this inevitable burnout path. And I just don't want to do that. I feel like I've put too much in, I've come too far just to come this far. And, so I think it's helpful for young people to also hear us say that.
To be vulnerable. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Be transparent, because, someone might look at us as a business professional and think we've got it all together.
Oh,
we're perfect.
totally.
You know
I
what
think
I mean?
that a lot.
And
If they only knew.
And it's right, like I'm a mess. Right. My life is so hectic, and you would not believe the things that I have to juggle.
Oh my God. And they need
Right.
to hear that. It's okay.
Yeah. Because it doesn't have to be perfect.
And it will never be. It's like
No.
And even like, the whole like, practice makes perfect, like striving for perfection. It's like, practice makes
We have
progress.
to kind of have to reframe that.
Progress. practice makes progress, progress not perfection. I love that.
Progress.
You guys,
Yes.
I know that we're at time. Is there,
Yes.
thank you so much. This was such a gift. I know, Sandy, you have at 2:30. I allegedly have something to do before I get my daughter at 3. And Leo, I think we're good. Did you send the invitation? Are you good on that?
I just see Sandy's email. Let me just write it down real
So grab
quick.
her
And
email
then
and then tell me, did we say 4 o'clock on the 19th? It's a Monday, Sandy.
we did say 4 o'clock
4
to
o'clock.
5, I think it was, right?
Okay.
That should be fine.
That would be amazing to have you. I feel like, and think about other.
Thank you so much.
We want it to be Central Mass specifically. We're a little bit loose on like that geography exactly, but like between Metro West and Worcester County. So like anybody else that's like a deep, like I'm talking people that are up to something and they're kind of tuned in spiritually and they're open to like exploring the shifts that we're seeing. So, and if you guys take that link, I would say the better link, if you guys want to both grab that, if you don't already have it, it was the bit.ly/super shifts. If you grab that, take a look at that and just kind of see who else because the more people in Central Mass we can get talking about this, the better. She kind of defaults to Boston and California, but like I think we can actually do something here for those of us that are here and we're in this conversation, but like we may not know it. So feel free to
I would
spread
love that.
the word. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I will think of it. Oh, and Leo, you mentioned juggling. Just recently, I forget who it was, said something that they're trying to from the juggling mindset to the planting seeds mindset.
Yep. It's
I love
a
it.
lot of like networking in general is about planting seeds.
Yeah.
Totally. I'm going to put that in the chat just because it is being recorded as the chat to planting. So from juggling, whoops, like juggling all the things, right? Like it's that
Right.
default
So instead
overwhelm.
of falling, dropping things, you're planting
You're
seeds.
seeding. I love that.
That's a little more intentional
Oh my gosh.
and
Well,
kinder.
Yes. Kindness. When people are not kind, I think that's one of my biggest triggers. If somebody's like rude or they're condescending, like I was thinking that I didn't share it. I wanted to hear some other people's perceived triggers, but that for me, like, I'm like gone. Like if you're rude to somebody,
Yeah.
but it's so good. It's so good to like know what triggers us and just sort of be with it. We don't have to fix it. It's like, okay, that triggers me.
I just met someone whose business is called Kindness Leads.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
Is it kindnessleads.com?
Let me just double check her. Here it is. .org. Kindnessleads.org. Beth Ann Robbins.
Maybe it says 404, but you know what? It's probably something else. But kindness leads with an s.org.
Yeah, leads like leadership.
What's her name again?
Beth Ann Robbins.
Beth
Okay.
Ann.
Sandy, I think you said you had a 2:30, right?
I do.
So if you need to buzz out, feel free. And Amy, you and I can wrap up.
Yes, found her. Guys, I'm just going to throw this in the chat.
Okay.
Thank you for that. And if you ever want to do an intro, it sounds like Leo and I are both happy. She sounds amazing.
Oh, well, yeah, thank
Oh,
you.
and look, I have 6 mutual connections. What do you know?
Look at that. Not surprising.
Well, Leo, it's so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
It's always great to see you, Amy. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you could be here. I know you're juggling. No, you're seating. You're seating.
Yes.
Mucho. Okay, ciao, ciao.
Take good care.
Thank you. Bye.
I just thought I would give her permission because she probably needed to go.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, we are at 2:30. Can you believe 2:29? What do you know?
Great meeting, Amy.
Oh, it was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.